Alright, here we go. So, I'm going to do a little guide for my CI Crit Arc Shadow. I'm currently level 81. This build I originally designed for the Bloodlines League. It is important to note that I am in Standard right now, but because, yes, the character did die. The thing is, he was very successful, and I kind of want to go into detail of what the build is, how it works, and yeah. Alright, so a few just basic mechanics up front. I have a 5-link arc. Current DPS without any charges is about 7.5k. When I'm all charged up, it's at 9.5k. I don't have a super high level arc right now, so this will go up a lot once I get more crit nodes and once my arc levels up a few times and all my stuff levels up. So, some stats you can see: I have 7,000 energy shields. I've got about 1,700 mana. Yeah, alright, so I'm going to go into my passive tree. That's probably the first thing that we should look at. Okay, so this character is a shadow, as you can see. We've gone out the elemental damage nodes, obviously, but instead of taking the damage here, I've taken the cast speed, because casting fast when you're using a skill like Arc is very important. Critical damage and elemental damage is nice. And then I went down through the mana here to get this cast speed node. I'll go into how you're going to level this character in a bit. Out through the lightning damage, into the spell damage and mana regeneration, have some crit, have some energy shields, out through the power charges, and down here into Ghost Reaver. Ghost Reaver is extremely important for a Chaos Inoculation build because it enables us to restore our shields. We come out this way, we come up into the Chaos Inoculation and infuse shield behind it. We have the Influence Cluster over here. We have Written in Blood, Doomcast. We have both these stat nodes because they're actually needed. The build comes down into here and picks up Dreamer for more mana and Foresight, as well as Harrier. Then it comes over into the Witch Tree and gets things like Arcane Focus, Deep Wisdom, and then these mana and Energy Shield nodes here. I'm planning on picking up these nodes in the future if I decide I need to be tankier. But right now I feel like I just want more damage. And then I drop down in here for the Annihilation Spell Crit Cluster, Elemental Dominion for cast speed and damage, Lightning Walker for more lightning damage, and then Practical Application both for stats and for 40% stun avoidance. So I essentially have 90% stun avoidance while casting, because I have 40% from this and then 50% from having shields up. Go out the power charges over here. I pick up Heart of Thunder just for more damage and some penetration. I pick up Deep Thoughts for more mana and mana regeneration. Unnatural Calm for a lot of shields and max lightning resist, which is kind of helpful for dealing with Reflect, and then Whispers of Doom for one additional curse. This is something that's really important for this build. In the future, what I'm planning on going for here, I'm planning on getting Arcane Potency, and then I really want to get Stormweaver. That's what I'm actually going for next, instead of the crit, because Arc has a low base crit chance, and getting crit nodes doesn't have a whole lot of returns immediately. And then also, I'm probably going to come down here and get True Strike through this Dex node, and then I may pick up these additional 20% crit nodes over here. Yeah, so you see that I've taken a lot of mana nodes. One of the big reasons for this is so that I can run Arctic Armor. My Arctic Armor is currently level 10. I think I may be able to level it up pretty soon. I should be able to run about level 10, 11, 12, 15 or so. I think it might be the max I'll be able to run, but we'll see. It depends on how good of mana regeneration jewelry you have and that kind of thing. Yeah, okay, so let's go into my items here. So none of these items are like particular things that you will like need. Like, this build does not rely on any uniques. You can do this all with rare gear. Pretty much all the gear I have are things I bought on Bloodlines for pretty cheap. I manually 5-linked my chest, and I had the currency for a Wrathpith, but I died right before I was able to equip it, so I grabbed one of the ones I had in Standard. Alright, so let's go into this in detail. Let's just start with the helmet. Actually, let's not start with the helmet. Let's start with the chest. Okay, so this is a chest I got without the Master Mod for 2 Chaos and Bloodlines. It wasn't 5-linked at the time. That's something I did myself. As you can see, it's got 571 shields, which is the most important thing for a Chaos Annihilation build. It's got some intelligence, which is a nice perk, and it's got mana, which is excellent because I need mana. And in here you can see my main skill. I have Arc level 18, linked with Spell Echo, Faster Casting, Lightning Penetration, and Life Leech. So Life Leech is really important because it makes me really tanky. Like, this character is actually extremely tanky. Because of its high life pool, the way that Life Leech works is you regenerate at 20% of your maximum life per second, and because I'm using Ghost Reaver, all that applies to my shields. So if I pull my calculator here, while I'm attacking, I regenerate roughly 1400 shields per second, which is really good. Okay, next I will move on to my boots. So I'm using a pair of Rainbow Strides. I've said this before in my other CI videos, but Rainbow Strides are really good for CI builds because it's a pair of boots that has high ES, and it has good all-res and move speed and mana and spell block chance, and they're fairly cheap. You don't usually have to pay that much for them, but one of the big things about them, there obviously are better boots out there, but Rainbow Strides is really good, like, for your money, and it's tough to beat this when on a budget. Okay, now in here is my curse setup. So I run Assassin's Mark. Well, no, excuse me. I run Arc linked with Curse on Hit and Warlord's Mark and Assassin's Mark. So the point of this, some people are like, oh, why aren't you using your Herald of Thunder? I can see it on your buff bar over there. So I originally used Herald of Thunder with the Curse on Hit to apply these, but I have issues with range. At the range I typically engage at, Herald of Thunder would not curse my enemies. So I just put it on an Arc. This is really effective. It also frees up a 4-link, which actually let me run cast when damage taken, so that's really important. So Assassin's Mark gives me my power charges and more crit chance, which is really important. And then the Warlord's Mark, it gives me Life Leech and Mana Leech, Life Leech is nice, Mana Leech is nice, but I don't need them. The big thing here is stun chance, which is actually really powerful, and the chance to grant an endurance charge. So the way that my build works with the cast and damage taken setup, which I'm going to explain next, as you're killing enemies, if they have the Warlord's Mark, I'll be consistently running around with my max amount of of endurance charges, which means that my custom damage taken setup can work really well. So I'll go into my helmet here. You'll see this is an armor ES helmet. Like, why are you using that when pure ES one could be better? Well, the reason I chose armor ES, and I bought this item also on Bloodlines for pretty cheap, and then added the master mod. It's got really good shields for it. Armor ES helmet. The reason I run an armor helmet is because I needed 3 red sockets for the custom damage taken setup I wanted to run. And in order to do that, the easiest way would be to use an Armor ES helm. So I have cast when damage taken level 3, linked with Immortal Call. You notice Immortal Call is the first thing on here, so it'll trigger immediately. The reason for this is because, well, like I said, because I use the Warlord's Mark curse, that means that I pretty much have endurance charges when I'm in between packs, so I don't need to cast Enduring Cry first to get more charges. So that way I just consume the charges I have. Okay? Then immediately after that, I cast Enduring Cry, so that if I take another hit soon, I will have charges up. Okay? So the order of these really depends on if you have other ways of generating charges. Okay, if you don't generate any charges, then you want your Enduring Cry before your Mortal Call, because custom damage taken, it triggers in a clockwise order from the gem. Okay, but since I will always have charges, almost always have charges between packs, I want this first. And then the last thing I cast is Frost Wall. So Frost Wall is actually a really cool skill, and it works really well with this build. With the way that this works, I take some damage, and I create this wall. Now, this helps against ranged enemies. Like, I don't have any kind of stun immunity on this build, so like against archers and things like that, if they damage me, it'll put up a wall in front of them, and they won't be able to attack me because they'll just hit the wall. It also will block things like Arctic Breath, fireballs. It blocks a lot of different kinds of projectiles. Another cool thing is that Arc just goes right through it like it's not there. Also, if there's an enemy in melee range on you, it'll appear. It'll push them back, they have to walk around, it gives you some time to grab some more casts and leech some more life. So Frostwall, cast when damage taken, is really good on this build. Okay, I'll go into my auras. You see them on the buff bar there. Again, this is an item. I I believe I found this item, but anyway, it's pretty good. I got kind of lucky finding it. But we got our reduced mana linked with Discipline, Herald of Thunder, and Clarity. It's pretty simple auras. You just need like mana regeneration, and then Herald of Thunder is for damage and also helps against enemies in melee range in single target situations. And then Discipline, obviously, because it gives me shields. Okay. Now this is just energy shield resistant intelligence. Pretty simple stuff. My belt has strength, which I need the stats. It's got energy shield and resist. This is something I found in Bloodlines. It's pretty simple. I have this ring here. This ring is really nice. I bought this in Bloodlines for pretty cheap. It has some shield, which is nice, but it has cast speed. It had the resist I need, and it has mana regeneration. So ideally, I'd like to get like more mana regeneration on all my gear to be able to run a higher level of Arctic armor, but I don't really need it. This is another ring I found in Bloodlines. I've mastercrafted the energy shield model on it since I came to standard, because I can do that here. I don't have level 8 Elryon in the other league, and level 7 Elryon, obviously. And then my amulet, again, I found in Bloodlines. It has strength, which again we need for Enduring Cry and Warlord's Mark and stuff. This thing has mana, shields, max shields, it's a nice crit multi. It's just generally all around pretty good. Obviously there's better things out there, but this is just nice. Here's my wand. This is a really nice wand. It's got a lot of spell damage, a lot of cast speed, and I was able to mastercraft spell crit on it. So obviously, again, there's probably better things out there, but this is really good. And here we have linked my lightning warp with reduced duration. I found this in Bloodlines, and a faster casting. It's pretty standard mobility setup there. And then over here we have the Wrathpith. So Wrathpith is a very high ES unique shield with obviously reliable stats. You'll see that I have extra spell block, excuse me, on both my shield and my boots. So I have a fair amount of spell block. And in here we have linked Blood Rage, Increased Duration, and Arctic Armor. I was originally just trying to roll 2 green sockets so I could use Blood Rage and Arctic Armor, but I managed to roll the red, so I was able to put an Increased Duration in there. Yeah, so Wrathpith, again, it's a very consistent shield in terms of having a fair amount of ES. Like 200 plus is really what you want on your shield, and it's got some spell block, which again, it makes you tankier not only against Reflect, but against enemy spells as well. A word about bandit rewards. So in normal, I killed everyone for a passive point. In cruel, I killed everyone for a passive point. And in merciless, I actually helped Oak for an endurance charge, because having that 4th endurance charge like really gives me that extra physical damage reduction, and I wouldn't really be able to get a 4th endurance charge otherwise, and it also enables my Immortal Call to be longer. Okay. Yeah, so as you can see, again, level 10 Arctic Armor. The level of your Blood Rage doesn't really matter, but you should just level it as high as you can for the duration. Yeah, so I have 3 Frenzy Charges. I could get more if I wanted to from the tree, but I don't really have to. If you haven't seen any CF things before, I don't take any damage from Blood Rage. It just runs because I have 100% Chaos Resistance. Okay? I'll go ahead and show you guys my defense page. I have hardly any armor. That's just from the helmet. Hardly any evasion rating. The evasion rating, I don't have any from my gear. I think I'm not sure exactly what the evasion rating is from. Yeah, I don't know what the evasion rating is from. Yeah, but obviously I pretty much can't evade. I have very high shields. My shield recharge is pretty fast. I have 143 mana regeneration per second, and I got 75, 75, 76 resist, and 100% chaos resistant, 25% block chance, 16% spell block chance, and 20% move speed. Okay. And as you can see, I have pretty low dex, okay strength, and very high intelligence. Okay, so you could easily play this build on a budget. Let me just go and dismiss that. It's been sitting there for way too long. It really is not that hard. Like, I was able to buy the gear I needed on Bloodlines. I had the money to buy a Wrathpith. I just didn't want to do it because I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to use it or not. I didn't have the requirement yet. Oh, my flasks. I should go over those. So, My flasks aren't really like, these aren't perfect flasks, but we got lightning resist with remove bleed, we got granite with move speed, a move speed with move speed, quartz flask with remove freeze and chill. This is something I really like. I think the quartz flask is really cool. And then a move speed with remove bleed. Because I cast fast, I have all this like remove bleed to make me immune to things like corrupting blood. But yeah, if you guys haven't seen what the quartz flask does, it looks like this. It's like really cool. Alright. So with that, I'll go back to my hideout and I'll run a map just to kind of demonstrate the build. I think I'll do like a 74 or something like that. Let's do... Let's do a Gorge, because I really like the Gorge. I'm running low on Gorges, but that's okay. I'll just chisel it in case I get another Gorge. Goatmen, that's fine. EE is not okay. Sea Witches with power charges. It's runnable, but I want more quantity. Okay, life and poison on hit. As CI, poison on hits doesn't do anything to you, so this is fine. Alright, so turn on your Arctic Armor, turn on your Blood Rage, and go. So the way I play, I pretty much always cast, whenever I see a mob, I cast my Curse Arc, like, immediately. And that way, like, I consistently will generate charges. You see the Frost Wall going off there. Oh, little frame drop there. So, a word about the critical chance of my arc. It is about 37.5%. Before Assassin's Mark. So with Assassin's Mark, it's 46.5. So it's close to 50% crit chance against an enemy that is cursed, which I think is pretty darn good for a spell with a basic crit chance. Put a shrine here. I have lightning resistant enemies. It's not a big deal because I have lightning pen. I'd like to get a quality lightning pen, obviously, but that'll just come with time. Oh, it's a skeletal. Okay. I'm not a fan of the skeletal shrine. I think it's annoying, but it's actually really good. You do not take much damage while you're under the effect of the skeletal shrine. Also, it makes the screen really cluttered. But as you can see, like, my Herald Thunder is not hitting all these enemies at the speed I need it to. I've had suggestions of using things like Ball Lightning for Curse on Hit, but the issue is that by the time the Ball Lightning gets to the enemies, they'll probably already been killed by the primary arc. So I'd much rather use another arc because it's much faster. As you can see, I have like 3 frenzy charges all the time, as I'm killing enemies. There's the wall, blocking arrows like a boss. Oh good, the stupid shrine is gone. Screen is much less cluttered with that there. One of the great things about Arc is the fact that it auto-aims. Like, you can put your cursor over there, and you'll still like typically like attack enemies if they're close to you. Yeah, as you can see there, like I took a bunch of hits because I was leveling the gem, and it did not matter. Like this build is so tanky that like I'm kind of upset there's no like jumpers or things like that that I could show you how tanky it is with. But like if there's enemies, like he doesn't care. Like a lot of caster builds, like enemies would approach you and you'd kite. Because I'm Chaos Inoculation have Life Leech, I can basically just say F you, I don't care, and tank them. Now, of course, you can't take everything, but that's something that if you play this game at all, you should know. Like these sparks, I don't care. Again, when you have, like, I designed this build specifically for the Bloodlines League, so it is very tanky. Yeah, I'm going to discuss how you level after the map. Got an immortality totem, not a problem. Sometimes it's a little tough to target the immortality totem, just because sometimes your spell doesn't want to cooperate. So in those cases, usually you have to jump on it, or you have to try to like lure the enemies away. Anyway, I have really enjoyed this character. It's one of the reasons why I kept playing him after he died. And so, if you guys haven't read the Path of Exile news, there's an upcoming 1 month race, essentially like a 1 month mini league, like that begins in like a couple weeks. I am for sure planning on playing like pretty much this character again for it. I've really enjoyed him. I think I'm going to play the softcore one just because the rewards are going to be the same, but of course I'll still play the hardcore mentality if I don't want to die. That's mainly because I don't have the time to like start over if I actually die. Alright, and this is now a habit. Like, I pretty much always ID boxes, even if it's just like nothing. Even if it's just a blue box, I still ID. Because it's kind of funny, like, almost all my characters in Bloodlines that I made, oh, the boss is over here. Almost all my characters that I made in Bloodlines, what they actually died to was strong boxes. So that was just like me, like, misplaying them. Like, not ID. I think one of my first characters died to, like, me not IDing a rare box. Alright, let me turn off those items so you can see. So I can see. So I'm just going to face tank the boss. I don't care. As you can see, the wall keeps him away, and I just leech back on my life. This is even without the curses. Alright, so that does it for the map run. I'll pick up these things. Okay. And, alright, I'll clean up the map after I talk about how.
Good day to you, Exile.
I did not try to. I don't know what that random error is. Not press a key. This is okay cast speed, but the other mods are crap. Alright, so leveling. So I'm gonna kind of talk a little bit about how I leveled. Okay, so when I was leveling, I'm able to connect to achievement server. I I don't know what this line going on here is. Okay. Alright, so when I was leveling, I had the Blood Siphon nodes, and I had this one mana and life node over here. That's it. Okay, so I had those 3 nodes about the time I ended normal. Pretty much when I got into Act 3 normal, what I started to do is I started to collect energy shield gear and equip it, and like try to roll it to high shields. So I think like at the end of normal, I had like I had like 600 shields, 1,000 life, kind of a deal. At the end of Cruel, I had like 2,200 shields and 1,000 life, or like 1,200 life. So I didn't take like any more life nodes. And then like about midway through Act 1 Merciless, I spec'd out of these 2 nodes and the life node I took over here, and I got CI, and I did it at the same time I leveled up, so I was able to take all the stuff over here in one burst. And I went to about 2,800 shields. So basically all you really have to do to like level with this character, oh also, I had these nodes like all along because they're good, and they help both the life and the energy shield. So all you really have to do to level is take a few life nodes, start to collect energy shield gear around like Act 3 or like late Act 2, and just start having a big ES pool. That's really all you have to do. And then by the time you transition into Act 1 Merciless, that's when I did it. You could probably do it earlier if you, especially if you're playing like softcore and didn't care about dying. And then, yeah, you pretty much just, you spec into CI when you feel that you're ready. Make sure you have Ghost Reaver. It's like 100% essential. And yeah, I used Arc as soon as it was available. Before that, I leveled with Lightning Tendrils. Like Lightning Tendrils is really good. Yeah, so I'm probably going to be playing the 1 month race after Bloodlines ends. I'm going to run a Templar these next couple weeks, like for the end of Bloodlines. I'm not sure what build I'm going to do with him. I think I was considering playing it like my Burning Discharger build I've had in the past. I haven't written a guide on that, obviously. And yeah, that should about do it for this character and the guide here. If you have any questions, feel free to comment on my forum post, which I'm going to post in the link on the video. Comment on the video. Yeah, if you like the build, you know, give me a thumbs up. Like, let me know if you want to try it. This is like the most budget CI build I've ever played. I was like really surprised. Yeah, so that'll about do it for the guide. If you